I'm going for the stuff that was only GFW first before I move on to everything else that we know was not GFW. I'm going to talk about what wasn't there. There was no Guido, which I'm very happy about. I don't really care. No Joseph Park, which I do care because he's the more entertaining of the two. You don't see anything of the knockouts. Zero knockouts, except for Law Van Ness, that after what happened with Guido, after what happened with Joseph Park, you would say, let's drop it. It's done. We don't need to keep Laura Van Ness as she is. But guess what? They're still doing the Laura Van Ness for the tapings. And that is the most stupidest thing. Why couldn't they just drop it and let her go back to being a regular wrestler instead of one that's nuts? Now, mind you, people would say, well, she's getting over. Dude, there's only so far we can stretch something like this. Looking for a man. Come on. Come on. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to be the Laura Van Ness's real man, but this is gone too far. It's gone far enough. It's just a waste of time. Now, Eli Drake had a couple of promos in the back with McKenzie and with Dutch Mantel. Loved it. Eli Drake is always the highlight to me when he talks and does his promo doing Eli Drake. But the promos could not hide the fact that Eli basically is not being used properly. This situation where GFW is not being seen barely at all is a waste, not a match. Garza Jr. and Look, I don't hate Garza Jr. I don't hate Johnny M. I don't. But you're not doing anything. If everything else is focused outside the promotion, when you should be focusing on Garza Jr., because that seems, from what I understand, people are really building up on him. They're trying to do something with him when he's doing nothing. It's sad. And Eli Drake is the most entertaining champion we've had for a while. We've hadn't had that much entertainment in a while when it came to a champion. So you see this, you're wishing that this wasn't going on. The match was a standard match, and in the end, it didn't really matter who won. Really, it didn't. Because it just feels empty. This just didn't mean anything because the focus was not on the show. Now, here's the end of the night. You got Moose versus Lashley, which made no freaking sense. Why would you have a match with Lashley and Moose here? Mind you, it wasn't a bad match. And the crowd, even though they're very small, they really don't have a lot of energy, particularly that since they come in for free and they do multiple tapings over a couple of days, they get burnt out easily. They were behind Moose. The people were cheering for Moose pretty loudly. And you could see them cheering for Moose in the background. So that was a good thing. It wasn't just canned pop along with canned heat. You actually got some people cheering for Moose. But here's the thing. This is the thing that confuses me. Stefan and Dan were supposed to have a match. Then you got King Mo dealing with Moose. They're supposed to have a match. Now after this fight, they 100% changed it, going straight into a 6 sides of steel match because they couldn't stand how things were being run. Moose pretty much saying, I'm sick of this shit. We're going to have a 6 side of steel match between me and my friend Stefan and King Mo and Lashley. One, it would have been better they already did that ahead of time instead of doing it on the fly. It didn't really make it that spontaneous because the show just didn't feel very coherent. Two, why are we using King Mo? Why? Look, Dan Lambert, I don't give a damn about. I don't know nothing about him. I don't know if he ever was a fighter. I don't know if he was ever a wrestler. I personally don't give a damn about the guy. But if you're going to be presenting this son of a bitch, and I do call him a son of a bitch, shouldn't he be in the 6-sided steel match? Instead of King Mo, shouldn't Lashley and Dan Lambert be in the match instead of King Mo being in there? Because let's be honest about King Mo. King Mo was supposed to be on the roster at one point, and he was on the roster. They had him up on the website for at least a year, and he only appeared in Slammiversary, if I'm correct, once he appeared on Slammiversary, they kept his name and his picture on the website, and he did freaking nothing. And that was during the time of Spike and Bellator. Why do I want to see freaking King Mo? King Mo's a bitch. Doesn't mean he couldn't kick my ass in a fight. But as a competitor in GFW, he's nothing. Why are we dragging King Mo into this when, if you're going to be presenting Dan Lambert, put the motherfucker in the ring? Now, I'm sorry for the cursing. I'm sorry. That just pissed me off and I had to get it done. And that generally is all that was left next to Global Forge, which I'm going to be honest here. They really haven't sponsored Global Forge. They never said go to YouTube and watch Global Forge there where you could get a lot more out of it. They haven't done it. Now, as far as I know, there might be a couple of parts of the episodes there. Instead of actually promoting it there, they won't do it. They don't care about it. And it feels empty. So I don't care about Global Forge, no matter who's there. Now, here's the thing that gets interesting. The rest of the night had no knockouts. Nothing about them. Nothing about the knockouts. The knockouts are blank. You had the X Division, the tag champs. Your grand champion was in a, what was it again? Was it a fatal 5-way match? I can't even remember. Was it? Yes. I believe, no, it wasn't. That was with Petey Williams. Petey Williams was in a fatal 4-way match, and it was a tag match with EC3 and what was that? Let me break it down. Let's break it down. X Division. You got Trevor Lee, who has trying to do the cult thing. The cult of Trevor. I'm not too fond of it, but it could be something later if they really promote it properly. He goes down to, where is he? Trevor Lee was at the Crash promotion in Tijuana, Mexico. I didn't care. Now, it had Ultimo Ninja, which I believe that's supposed to be Garza Jr.'s brother. It would be nice if they had promoted it. It means nothing. Yeah, we know Trevor's going to win because he's going to Bound for Glory. Fine. Then you got OVE going up against some people who was from the Border City Wrestling branch in what is it? Not Calgary, but somewhere in Canada. And I'm not against BCW. The problem is no promotion at all, no build-up at all, and OVE won. Of course, they had to. Then you had, what was it? You had the tag match of EC3 and James Storm versus Phantasma, and what was it? Tejano, sorry. And if I remember correctly, it was EC3 and Storm who won. But does it matter? No. I see nothing important. Then, what else did we have? We had, I'm forgetting something, no. Petey Williams was in a fatal 4-way. I didn't recognize the others other than the Super X Cup. And it didn't mean a damn thing. No promotion. Nothing. Let me see if I'm forgetting anyone else. And I'm sure I'm forgetting more. Because I kind of... Oh. And it was Marufuji versus Eddie Edwards. We already know that Eddie Edwards won the championship for Wrestling Noah. Now he had to try and retain it going up against Marufuji again. Which he did retain. And it was a good match. I'm not against most of the matches here. Admittedly, OVE's match wasn't that great. But the other guys seemed to be much better, which made them look bad. The problem I have is this, ladies and gentlemen. You have... breathe. The Global Force Wrestling is a wrestling promotion. And now, supposedly, you have 5 wrestling promotions that are under the belt of Global Wrestling. You have Crash, you have Wrestling Noah, you have AAA, you have Wrestling Noah, and now BCW. That makes supposedly 5 now. 5 of them. And the problem is they couldn't even handle 4, and now they're promoting a 5th one, and they don't even know how to promote themselves. This is what I would have done. Just see how I paint this for you. As a person who works in GFW, this is what I would have told them. Once a month, we will have 2 showings of one promotion. Either Wrestling Noah, AAA, Crash, and what was the other one? I'm forgetting. I'm blanking because I don't even remember them all. But and BCW. We will give them 1 segment or 2 segments each month. We will insert it. So we will allow people to see their product. We will sponsor their product without sacrificing our own. We will give them each a chance to shine once a month. And then at our pay-per-view, when we have one, we bring in one of those promotions so we could show that we are an international company that works with other promotions. How does that sound to you? How does that sound to you? An actual way to promote other promotions along with yourself. Not show everything of them and almost nothing of yourself. Completely blanking out any storylines, any proper booking, any proper promo segments, any proper in-ring segments, any proper beatdowns, any proper funny skits. When it comes down to GFW, it's a disaster. And that angers me so badly. I want to see GFW succeed here, but they have badly damaged their credibility. They don't understand how the National Wrestling Alliance used to do it back in the 70s and the 80s. They wouldn't sacrifice themselves to promote NWA. Sorry, and that's the National Wrestling Alliance. AWA, WCCW, Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Georgia Wrestling, Florida Championship Wrestling. Anytime there was a promotion, they made sure a part of their segment of their show was dedicated to showing something of them, of their champion, or of their promotion, of their tag promotion, because they were going to sponsor their own people going to them. Eventually, like at Starrcade or something like that. You know what I mean? This was ridiculous. They don't know how to show their own stars. They're not writing for their own stars. They're showing the same stupid things, which I hope they change completely in the beginning of 2018. If a lot of the same stuff that's going on now goes into 18, I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to seriously consider stop watching GFW. I'm not saying I want to stop, or at least if I'm not going to stop watching it, I'm not going to do I want to say this. I had to cut that because I was ranting. Look, I am considering, and I did say that to a certain point, stop doing reviews of GFW after January. I'm considering it. Maybe something will change my mind in the next couple of months, but it's really frustrating right now. I don't know. I'm not quitting loving wrestling. I'll still do Raw, do SmackDown. Maybe I'll focus on something else. Maybe NXT. I don't know if I can ever get into Lucha Underground if it comes back next year because the cinematics is a little too much for me. It kind of throws me off. But I am considering doing Reality of Wrestling again maybe. Or the National Wrestling Alliance. No, National Wrestling League. That one I've actually been considering watching. I'm actually going to see in the next couple of days if I can see some episodes of it. The only problem with the National Wrestling League is that they don't release their videos like once a week. They kind of scattered about it. And then maybe they may break it up a little bit. So I don't know yet. I am considering looking at other independent promotions. Someone tell me down below, what independent promotion that shows something on YouTube that I can do some reviews on? And I don't want to do ROH. I'm not an ROH guy. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just not. I'm just not totally into just 100% matches. I'm not. ROH is more match orientated. They put storylines on the back burner more than they would on most promotions that I can see. So you guys tell me below. Tell me if there's another promotion out there that does a little bit more about storytelling and balances out their wrestling, so I can consider it. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.